So I guess we can get into our first official, unofficial NBA mock draft. Now, I will say we both did a random generator for the lottery. So teams will probably be different. Um, and picks will probably be different because of that. And that's okay. Because in the NBA, for whatever reason, they have to rig things and they have to have this lottery. I think the worst team should just get the number one overall pick, but who am I? Who am I? I guess, if it wasn't fixed, if it wasn't rigged to some degree, LeBron would have never went to Cleveland and Derrick Rose would have never went to Chicago. And those were both cinematic masterpieces, so you know what? I'm going to let the NBA do their thing. And Cooper Flag to the Dallas Mavericks. But with that being said, I guess we could do it like how we did NFL, 5-5.
That works for me.
Okay, so my first 5 teams in this simulated lottery is the Jazz, the Nets, the Grizzlies, the Pacers, and the Wizards. That's 1 through 5. And with the number 1 overall pick, the Utah Jazz, I have them taking AJ DeBanza. They have Jaren Jackson. They don't need a 4. They have really good guards. They just drafted Walter Clayton Jr. They have Keontae George. I don't think they take a swing on Jaron Peterson. I think they go with who I think is the best prospect in this draft. Me personally, I think they go with the best scorer, potentially, probably AJ DeBanza. Number 2, the Brooklyn Nets. Let's just be honest, they need everything. So they're going to go with best player available, no matter where they are. And at number 2, that would be Darren Peterson, probably the second best scorer in this draft class. An amazing player if he can stay healthy. Scoring ability is off the charts. He did end the season very inefficient, but if this kid can stay healthy, he will be a baller. No questions asked. Number 3 with the Grizzlies. They just traded away Jaren Jackson Jr. There's a lot of things going on in Memphis. I think if they sit at number 3, they will take Caleb Wilson out of UNC. I just think it's more firepower. There's less questions about Caleb Wilson, in my opinion, over Cameron Boozer. I think Cameron Boozer is the better prospect, but I do think the fit would be better for Caleb Wilson to the Grizzlies. And then number 4 with the Pacers, I think they go Cameron Boozer, best player available. Slide Pascal over to the 3 maybe. Maybe run Cameron at the 3. I don't know how that looks, but they need a lot. I don't see them swinging on a guard here. If Darren Peterson was there, maybe. I just think you can't pass up on Cameron Boozer. And at 5, I have someone sliding in way higher than he probably should be. Not where I wanted him. I will let you know. I told Garrett before the podcast I don't really like my mock draft. I spent way too long on it. But at number 5, jumping all the way up, is Yaxel Lindenborg to the Washington Wizards. I just didn't see anything else that really fit. They have Trae Young. They have Anthony Davis. There's not a center worth swinging on. Maybe a 2 guard, but they have Trey Johnson. There wasn't really a 3 worth swinging on in the top 5. I think Yaxel Lindenborg is their best option at 5. Without Caleb Wilson, Cameron Boozer, DeBanza, and Peterson on the board. I just think that would be best fit.
All right. So for my first 5 in my generated mock draft, the number 1 pick belongs to the Pacers, 2 pick belongs to the Hawks, 3 to the Wizards, 4 Kings, 5 to the Brooklyn Nets. 5, I have the Indiana Pacers. Should get Tyrese Halliburton back next year. And now at the 3 spot to pair along him and Pascal Siakam, they're going to put AJ DeBantis, and that team is going to be dangerous if Tyrese comes back fully healthy. I agree with everything you said. I think he is the best scorer in this draft. I think he's the best player in this draft. Like, he is elite. He's like fits the NBA build. He's tall. He's lengthy. He can shoot. He can stretch the floor. He can hit the mid range. He can get to the rim. He can do it all. So I have the Indiana Pacers with the number 1 overall pick in the draft, taking AJ DeBantis out of BYU. Number 2, the Atlanta Hawks. They really need a center. There is not a center worth taking that early, so I think they kind of do a best player available kind of deal. Just the most upside, plus they could really use a little bit of everything. So I have them taking Darren Peterson from Kansas. Obviously, Darren Peterson, the cramps, the not wanting to play. Does he have the attitude to do it? Yada, yada, whatever. We've all heard it. I still think his upside is tremendously high. Don't know if it's number 2 overall pick high, but I think the Hawks do. So I think the Hawks would take him at number 2. Number 3, the Washington Wizards. This team really just needs everything. But I think they kind of want to. I think they go bigger. Like, I think they want to beef up their front court a little bit more, especially if they're picking this high. So this is where I think Cam Boozer does go. 4, this is where I have Caleb Wilson going. Have him going to the Kings. Kings, one of those teams that kind of need everything. They've kind of gutted it all. They have a pretty old roster right now. They're clearly building to the future. I'm very high on Caleb Wilson. He, just like AJ DeBantis, is the NBA build. He's tall, he's lengthy, he can stretch the floor, he can get to the rim, he can hit the mid-range. He can do it all. His turnaround jumper is elite, so I think that will make him very attractive to Sacramento. They're at number 4. At number 5, the Brooklyn Nets. They just waived Cam Thomas earlier this year, so I think they go get a guard. I think this is where Darius Acuff goes. We're both very high on Darius Acuff, so I have him going 5th to the Brooklyn Nets.
And then my next 5 is the Sacramento Kings, the Atlanta Hawks, the Dallas Mavericks, Chicago Bulls, and the Milwaukee Bucks. At 6 for the Sacramento Kings, like you said, kind of a team that just needs everything. I have them going with Kingston Flemings. I think Darius Acuff is the better prospect, but I think with Kingston Flemings being so similar to Russell Westbrook and them obviously having Russell Westbrook, it would just be a great mentorship opportunity, a great, boost to Kingston's young career. He is a clutch player. He's going to need to work on that three ball, but he can defend pretty well. He's extremely athletic, and anything inside the 3-point, he can make it happen. I don't think he'll be a tremendous passer, but I think if you have Russell Westbrook and you got a prospect like Kingston Flemings, who else? Who else would you want when you have that kind of mentor? Number 7, the Atlanta Hawks. Just traded away Trae Young. Kind of a mess right now. They're all over the place. I really don't, like their team, the form of their team. Obviously, they went on a tremendous win streak. What do I know? I'm not an NBA GM. But I do think they are lacking in the guard position now, and Darius Acuff is on the board at 7, staring them at the face. And why would you pass that up? So I think Darius Acuff goes to Arkansas. Number 8, the Dallas Mavericks. They have bigs. They have Cooper Flagg. They have Kyrie supposedly coming back, hopefully. So with their 8th pick, I have them taking a 2-guard in Keaton Wagler. 6'6", very lengthy, can score at all 3 levels. Lacks in the athletic department, but I think he has enough to get it done at 6'6". He's got an NBA body. He's athletic enough, and he can really do it all. Number 9 with the Bulls, another team I just don't like the form. I think they need to just completely get rid of everything. So it kind of left me in a weird spot in who they would draft. I kind of had them taking a swing on Nate Ament from Tennessee. I don't think he's worthy of a top 10 pick. I think at 6'10", He's just too hesitant, too inconsistent, not aggressive enough for my liking. But he is uber talented. And so with that being said, I think just where we are in the draft, I think the Bulls take the most talented prospect, take a swing, home run, or, pop out. Whatever the case may be, and I think they take a swing on Nate Ament. Number 10, the Milwaukee Bucks. Obviously, we don't know if Giannis will be there next year. That is yet to be determined. We can't, just assume. So my thinking is, obviously, Giannis is on the team right now. I'm going to assume Giannis is there next year. So with that being said, they need a guard. I have them taking Michael Brown Jr. out of Louisville. Didn't have the best year this year, but his freshman year, he was tremendous. He was really good. Lots of upside. Good. That would be a good pick and roll with Giannis. I think that would be a good, kind of settling in to the rebuilding era for Milwaukee.
Yeah. Okay. So for my sixth pick, I have the Utah Jazz taking Keaton Wagler. I think his performance in March Madness did enough, in my opinion, to boost him above Kingston Flemings, which I think is kind of the comparison right now. Who's going to go higher? Yada yada. I think Keaton Wagler cemented that in March Madness. 6'6", he's lengthy guard, and he's uber talented. At 7, I have the Memphis Grizzlies taking the in-state kid. I think I kind of agree with everything you said about Nate Ament, but I do think he'll be a top 10 pick because he fits the NBA build. I know I've said that 3 times now, but the NBA build is a tall, lengthy wing. Everybody wants those these days. So I think the Grizzlies do take a shot there, almost to kind of backfill where Jaren Jackson was before they traded him to obviously 2 very different players, but kind of fill the same position, I guess. At 8, I also have the Dallas Mavericks. This is where I have Kingston Flemings go. I think they have their big set. Obviously, they have Cooper Flagg there holding down the middle. I think they want to get some guard help, assuming Kyrie Irving will be back. Looks like he will be. So I think they get him some guard help. Klay Thompson is getting older, and I don't even really think he started much this year. But so I do think they go get a guard, and I think that guard is Kingston Flemings. I think he's the best available at 8 anyway, so it makes sense. 9, the Chicago Bulls. I agree with you. They are set up terribly. They need literally everything and anything and everything they could use. I think they go get Michael Brown Jr. from Louisville. Once again, they need everything. Almost just get the best pick available. Michael Brown, although he was out during the tournament, we saw him all season. He is good, very talented. At 10, the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going to assume Giannis is going to be back next year. So I'm going to think they're going to get guard help. So I think they get the best guard available. At least maybe the most NBA-ready guard available, which I think is Braden Burries. I think he has, he's not super small. Can kind of play the 1 or the 2. Obviously played very good this year. So Braden Burries going to the Milwaukee Bucks at 10.
All right, for my next 5, I have Warriors at 11, OKC at 12, Miami Heat at 13, the Hornets at 14, and the Bulls at 15. With 11, Al Horford's getting old. A lot of questions. Draymond Green's getting old. Will Kristaps return? So I think they're going to need big help moving forward. So I got them going Thomas Howell out of Florida. A big that is very defensive, very physical down low, but can also shoot the 3 ball. That just fits the Warriors. Obviously, that's what they're known for. And so with that stretchability, I have them going with Thomas Howell. OKC, I have them going with Haynes Steinbach. I think is just a best player available. I don't think there's any really wrong pick for OKC right here. It's kind of hard to pick for OKC if you're not in the OKC, general management room. So I think a good defensive 4 with size and physicality fits everything that OKC wants to do. 13, the Miami Heat, they really need wing help. There really isn't a wing that stands out to me. So I just went with the highest upside wing available with Kareem Lopez. I haven't watched too much of his tape, but I know a lot of professionals and a lot of people I watch on YouTube and stuff like that have a lot of praise for Kareem Lopez. Seems very talented, and we know the culture down there. And there have been plenty of like Jaime Jaquez and guys like that come through Miami. At 14, with the Charlotte Hornets, we see what they want to do. They want to shoot the ball. So you go get potentially one of the best shooters in this class, and Braden Burries, shooting guard out of Arizona. Freshman, he played really well. Like you said, he can play the one or the two. And with LaMelo Ball's injury prone and inconsistency, I think that would be a good pickup for them. Also, he fits exactly what they want to do with shooting the ball. And then at 15, with the Chicago Bulls once again, they're in shambles. I had them taking Nate Ament for the talent alone, 6'10". He's big. With this, I think they need more of a facilitator. Well, more of a playmaker, more of a scorer. I'm going to go with Cameron Carr. If he's staring at you at 15, I don't see how you pass on him.
Yeah, so for mine, at 11, I have the Warriors, 12, Thunder, 13, Heat, 14, Charlotte Hornets, and then 15, the Bulls at 11. I agree with you. I think the Warriors need to go big here. Unsure about Al Horford. You get what I'm saying. Draymond Green, Kristaps Porzingis. I think this is where they go get Yaxel. I think this is where Yaxel goes. UAB alumnus Yaxel Lindenborg, UAB legend Yaxel Lindenborg. I don't think he went anywhere after that. So straight from UAB to the Golden State Warriors. At 12, I agree with you. The Thunder really don't need anything. A championship contender team getting a lottery pick is already unfair as is. But if they need nothing, I think they just say, all right, bet. Let's just go get a great playmaker. Let's just go get Zero. Let's go get LeBaron Filon. Let's just bring in the best playmaker in the draft. Let's let him hoop. Let's let him come in and just have fun when SGA is out for the 5 minutes a game that SGA is out. So maybe I'm a little biased. Maybe I want to see LeBaron get his little ring, but LeBaron is going pick number 12 to the Thunder. 13, the Miami Heat. This is where I have Haynes Steinbach. You pronounced it way better than I did. The forward out of Washington. This is, they have Tyler Hero. Obviously they have Bam, so I think they want to fill in like a forward position. So I think that's where they go. 14, Charlotte Hornets. This is where I think Thomas Hall goes. They have the guard play. Look at, LaMelo. They have Kobe White, Brandon Miller, Colin Knipple. Miles Bridges is playing kind of the forward. They kind of need help in the forward and center department, so this is where I think they go. I think they try to fill in that. Like what you said, he is good offensively, but he can put his feet down, put his heels into the hardwood, and play defensively, both on the perimeter and mainly inside. 15, the Bulls, I have them taking Koa Pete. They need everything. There's nothing that they don't need. So I think they can kind of just take the best player available, and I think at this point it's Koa Pete.
Boy, are you going to be shocked where I got Koa Pete. At this point, we're out of the lottery, so everything should be same. So at 16, I have the Memphis Grizzlies with LeBaron Filon. Unsure with what happens with Ja Morant. If they keep Ja Morant, I think LeBaron Filon could very easily play the 2. If they trade Ja Morant, he could be their 1 of the future. He is a tremendous talent. He went to a terrible school, but he is a fantastic player. He can score the ball at all 3 levels. Not afraid to be physical, athletic, good player overall. Number 17, the Charlotte Hornets. You said it. They're lacking in the front court. They need help. They need bigs. So this is where I have Jaden Quintance going out of Kentucky, a tremendous scorer at the 4 position. I really liked him out of Kentucky. I think he's going to be a steal wherever he goes. Unsure with what Miles Bridges has to offer in the future. I think this is where Jaden Quintance goes. Number 18, OKC. You have an opportunity to draft Ade Mara out of Michigan, a 7'2"?
Yeah.
A 7'2" big to sit right there with Chet Holmgren. And Ade is somebody who I think can develop the NBA three-pointer over time. If he falls to OKC at 18, that would be nasty. And then number 19, the San Antonio Spurs. I think they need shooting. Braylon Mullins is still on my draft board, so I think this is where he goes. And number 19 to the San Antonio Spurs. And then Toronto Raptors. To me, they're lacking a PG. You could argue 4 and 5. I just didn't like any of the matches. I thought about Chris Sinak, but I went with Bennett Sturritz out of Iowa. He had a really good run in March Madness, and I think for that reason, they take a swing on him.
Yeah. All right, so 16, the Memphis Grizzlies. I have them. This is where I have Braylon Mullins going. Once again, they could do some guard play, guard help with uncertainty surrounding Ja Morant. 17, this is where I have Chris Sinak Jr. going. I had them taking a 4 in Thomas Howell, and now I have them taking a 5. Really putting emphasis on that front court for the Charlotte Hornets. I think that's where they're going to attack in this draft. 18th pick, and the Thunder have another pick in the draft. They had one inside the lottery, another one 18th. The rich get richer. I mean, what is this? What is this? This is stupid. Sam Presti is a demon. But I agree with you. I think they look at 7'2" Ade Mara, and they're like salivating, foaming from the mouth at the possibility of him playing alongside Shea, LeBaron Philon. From the tournament team, Alabama. Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, seriously, I'm glad we were on the same page there, because that would be nasty.
That would be crazy.
Be disgusting if they got him. And like, could you imagine, like, his lob threat ability, like even all the way down the court, they did it all tournament long, they did it all year long, was nasty. Him in this offense with these playmakers, it's going to be disgusting. And it hasn't happened yet, and I'm already like almost worried to have to watch it for years to come. 19, Spurs. I have them taking Kareem Lopez from New Zealand. I didn't have a feel on this because I think the Spurs are still building up with the pieces they have, so I didn't necessarily know where they were going to get. So I saw a foreign-born player there, and I said, that's it. All right, the Spurs, they like their foreign dudes. They're going to go with the guy from New Zealand. That was my logic behind it. 20, I agree. Bennett Sturts goes to the Toronto Raptors. My logic behind that, yeah, you're right. A big didn't really fit in there. And Bennett Sturts in a Raptors jersey, for some reason, that just made a lot of sense to me. I can't explain it, but it's one of those things, like, it just fits. Like, it just sounds right. So Bennett Sturts to the Raptors at 20.
So 21 with the Detroit Pistons. I'm not even going to try to say his name. Tunde is his first name. Small forward out of Baylor. Athletic, can get downhill. Very good defensively. But to me, I think the get downhill and score ability is very important for the Detroit Pistons. They lack that secondary scorer. But on top of that, they're a very good defensive team. So why would you not try to add on both ends of the floor? So I went Tunde. I'm not even going to say his last name. Small forward out of Baylor. Number 22, Atlanta Hawks. I have them taking Amari Allen, small forward out of Alabama. Can shoot the three ball. Very versatile defensively. A lot of upside in my opinion. And just with all the offense that Atlanta now has, get Dyson Daniels some help. Amari Allen, I think, is a good pick. Number 23, the 76ers. Let's be real, bro. It's coming to an end. Any day now, he's gonna call it quits, bro. So with that being said, I have somebody who I think could step in and fill his shoes, Chris Sinak. Even if Joel Embiid decides to play, I think Chris Sinak can fit into that 4 role right beside him, and that would be poetry in motion if everything panned out in a perfect world. But for the time being, I think they need to go ahead and start focusing for the future. This is a move that kind of gives them leverage to do either or. Keep Joel, get rid of Joel. Chris Sinak with his potential will be a good fit in my opinion. 24, my New York Knicks. I have them taking Dalen Swain out of Texas, an extremely good defender, extremely athletic, can get to the bucket, and he's just going to play big boy ball. What more does New York need? An excellent defender. He's gonna bully you, and you're gonna hear about it for every minute he's on the floor. It just fits New York. I would love to have him over here. It would be extremely exciting. And then 25 with the LA Lakers, just needed a big. They went with Patrick. You're the Duke fan. Please say his last name.
Ngungba.
Yeah, Ngungba. He's a big 6'10", lob threat, very good defensive. On the defensive end of the floor, I think that would be an amazing pickup for them with the uncertainty of what DeAndre Ayton wants to do, with the lack of depth at that position. I think they have no other option.
So at 21, I have the Pistons taking Christian Anderson, the guard from Texas Tech. I think they want scoring help, perimeter help for Cade Cunningham. That's when we did our playoff predictions last week. That's what I said. My biggest concern with him was if Cade isn't fully healthy and if he isn't balling, like who's going to carry the scoring load for him? So I think that's what they attack in this draft. He's a hooper. He can score. At 22, Hawks need a little bit of everything. I think they beef up their front court. I think they go Patrick and Ngungba. However you say it. I definitely butchered it too, but you know who I'm talking about. 23, this is where I think the forward out of Kentucky, Jaden Quaintance, goes. He can score. He's big. He's physical. He's strong. I think also one of those things that you have Tyrese Maxey. You have, what's his name? VJ Edgecombe. So I think you try to go big. You went way big. I'm going to bump it down one and go to the forward spot instead of the center. So I'll go with Jaden Quaintance. Almost to take over for like the Paul George kind of situation that they have going on that is expiring, I'm sure, eventually. 24, I have your New York Knicks taking Morris Johnson Jr. I think they need big help. I like their guard play. Who doesn't like their guard play? I think they have enough defense between Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. I think they need mainly depth at the center position. So obviously they have Mitchell Robinson there right now. So I think they backfill somebody into behind him. I think that is Morris Johnson Jr. Coming from Michigan, has championship pedigree and experience right there ready. He can also move down to the 4 if they need him to play behind Cat. 25. This is where I have, I think the Lakers preparing for life after LeBron. I think they go get a forward to help displace the minutes that he might not play next year if he does play next year. So I think they go get, this is where I think the forward from Baylor, Tunde Yesufor, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. That's where I think he goes. 25 to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Okay, and with the final 5 picks, 26, the Denver Nuggets, they need bench help. Jokic can do anything and everything he needs to do with the starters, with whoever's on the floor. So I think they go with the backup 1, Christian Anderson, Texas Tech. A tremendous scorer, can get to his spots. He does what he needs to do. I think this would be a tremendous six-man for them. And potential to grow into more. 27. This is where I finally have Cole Pete. I have Cole Pete falling. Do I think he'll fall this far? Maybe not, because he is uber talented. But like I said before, I don't really like my draft, and we'll see what happens after the combine, whatever you want to call it. What do they call it?
Draft,
just call
lottery,
it
draft.
The combine.
Finals.
The
I think
combine.
it's the combine.
Is it
Yeah,
just called the combine?
I do think it is the combine.
We'll see after that. But at 27, what did the Boston Celtics have to lose? They're already really good. They're still championship contenders. Cole Pete is just staring at them in the face that they're going to take them. 28, the Minnesota Timberwolves, another team I think needs to work on their spacing. Isaiah Evans is still sitting here at 28. A fantastic shooter. Potential to be one of the best shooters in this draft class. So Isaiah Evans. 29 with the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're a really weird team just because I feel like every position is good. Maybe a wing. I didn't have them taking a wing. I didn't really think about it. I didn't see anybody that I liked fitting over there. So I went with Morez Johnson. I just think he's the best available player left on the board. And with the Cavs being as good as they are, I think that's who they take. I think this is the guy that can play the 3, the 4 or the 5, and can really fit in with Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley. And then with the last pick in the first round, I have the Dallas Mavericks taking Alex Caravan. He's a little bit older, more experienced, but he's a winning basketball player. He does what it takes to win. I think he's tremendously well-rounded, and I think that gives them depth, and it gives them switchability with Cooper Flagg, and if they take a guard, and the bigs that they do have when they are fully healthy.
Yeah, so at 26, the Nuggets, this is where I have Dalen Swain, the super athletic, big, strong forward out of Texas. I'll be honest, from here on out, it's a whole lot of just best available kind of deal, because like a lot of these guys could be getting late first round, early second round draft grades, and some of these guys haven't even committed to the draft yet. So a whole lot of best available. I didn't really have a feel on these last 5 picks, to be honest. 27, I have Joshua Jefferson out of Iowa State. Obviously, he was hurt during the tournament, or at least the last game that they lost to Tennessee. Did not play, if I remember correctly. But he is still really good. Like, Iowa State was as good as they were all year, largely because of him. 28, this is where I have Isaiah Evans. This is one of those, he has not said he was going to the NBA draft yet. He hasn't said that. So he could stay, he could go, he could transfer, who knows. But I have the Timberwolves taking him, getting shooting help to pair alongside and all that. I think they are really liking a true knockdown shooter. I think he brings that. 29, Cameron Carr out of Baylor. Once again, not a whole lot of stuff behind that. It just picked a lot of best available. 30, this is where I have Amari Allen going. Amari Allen, another guy, has not declared for the NBA draft yet. The only intel there is about him is he teased on his Instagram that he might be coming back to Alabama. That's the only intel that I have on him. I'm sure he's testing the waters, which he should. So depending on where he gets will depend on if he decides to go or not. So Amari Allen, if you are watching this, you will go undrafted in the NBA draft if you go. So it would just be smart for you to come back. Just ignore both of our assumptions about where you might go, especially Anderson's. Anderson overinflated you super high.
Hey, that's Amari Allen telling you to shut it down, bro.
Nah, fam, no. Amari Allen, please stay. But yeah, anyway, so Amari Allen, backfilling their forward position there in Dallas. with the last pick of the first round. Please come back, Amari. Please.